fasten your championship belts, because this podcast is unprofessional. Welcome to your weekly home for wrestling reviews, discussion, predictions, and more. This is Unprofessional Wrestling. Here are your hosts, Scwartz, George, and Travis.
All right, here we are. Oh, man. Sometimes it's a mess trying to get everything ready on time when you have a busy life. Thanks for checking out Unprofessional Wrestling. Thanks to everybody watching on YouTube land, watching live, listening if you're listening to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, yada, yada, yada. George, how's it going?
Enjoying the beautiful weather, man.
It's getting nice up here in northern Wisconsin, finally. Schwartz, we barely talked to you because you spent all weekend moving into your new house, and your audio sounds way better than it ever has, just magically. And I know it's not because you know what you're doing with it. This house is just good luck, I guess. How's the moving going?
I moved a lot, and it feels like I didn't move anything.
That doesn't make any sense, but hell yeah, brother. I love it. Man. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot to get to. How about, I just want to start by saying, how about that fucking crowd in France, right?
Loud.
Oh, man.
I hope every single crowd tries to one-up that one. It would be amazing.
Yeah, it was a stark difference going from France to Hartford, Connecticut, which I thought was a pretty just like not great crowd. I don't know. That's just me. I thought it was a big difference going from one to the other, especially and it's not like, I know Hartford's not like a Chicago crowd or something, but come on, man. Hartford didn't have a whole lot of soul in them.
Especially, I mean, it's kind of hard to top what they just had in France. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I just really wish I knew what the fuck they were saying half the time.
Yeah, I know the song that they kept singing for AJ was like about being phenomenal,
Gotcha.
and they sang that over and over again, and
Like every time.
yeah. And when they were doing his intro or championship intro or whatever, like when they were introducing him and Cody,
Yeah.
and then you could see the camera, just the hard cam was shaking. That was so cool. I don't know. They took.
I thought it was amazing.
They took this nothing meaningless pay-per-view that there's never any reason to be excited about, and like the crowd totally made it. I think without it, would have been a really mid, on the lower side of the middle part of the scale, I guess. I don't know. It was a good
Maybe even lower.
Yeah, it was a good pay-per-view. It was just, it's kind of a throwaway because you're about to start the new rosters and all that shit. So
Yeah. I was very curious on, kind of jumping really quick into BackLash. I know that it's completely jumping the format, but I was very curious as to why they didn't open with the title match and close with the Bloodline.
I don't know. I think either way would have worked. I think the Bloodline and the RKO team, I think, was probably the hotter angle going into it. But I don't know. Because Cody's not going to lose that match.
No,
but I don't know. I think the ending of the Bloodline match pretty much could have just completely ended the pay-per-view in a better taste in everyone's mouth.
What was wrong with the way it ended?
It just seemed like it was nothing. Like it was just Cody celebrating, and that's it. Like you already knew he was gonna win, and so it's like,
did any of you expect a new Bloodline member?
A different one,
tiny bit. Yeah,
one that could actually get out from under the ring fast enough.
See, okay, so you texted me about that, and I hadn't seen it yet, and I went back and watched it. I'm like, what's the problem?
The referee pulled himself out
the
of the
angle.
ring.
I don't think he did.
No, he definitely did.
I'm not saying he wasn't late, but I didn't think the ref did a whole lot until he was actually pulled.
There's another angle that he wasn't out, and actually the referee rolled out, and so Tungaloa actually like grabbed him while he was rolling out to make it look like he was actually like he
barely
actually did
like last second touched him.
Yes. So he definitely didn't get out fast enough.
All right. Well, in any case, I got a couple things down here for the news. So let's start with this. Drew Gulak, of course, we talked about how he was supposedly released. I think last week we talked about that. And Triple H had said during the press conference that took place after Backlash, saying that whoever's getting that info from needs to find more credible sources, and that Drew was not released. They just didn't renew his contract. What the fuck's so funny?
Nothing.
I
got distracted because I remembered I forgot to put my Invisalign back in, and I'm like,
that was what's funny.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah,
up. Fuck you both. I'm gonna have to go grab it at some point. So, yeah, Drew Gulak, as we know, is no more, and he wasn't quote unquote released. He just wasn't renewed. But also, did you guys see all the shit that was reported about him being an absolute bully backstage?
Mm-mm.
Spiked somebody's head into the mat intentionally, broke somebody's fingers intentionally. He really tried to throw his weight around, apparently. And somebody brought up something that Cody Rhodes said in an interview like years ago, talked about how Drew Gulak was a bully, or he tries to throw his weight around like some grizzled vet or something like that. I don't know. But I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this has just now gotten out when... I mean, I guess, did you say Cody had that interview in the past?
Yeah, Cody said that at one point in time. It was quite a while ago. But...
Well, when it rains, it pours.
Yeah, moving on. Asuka's injured. Asuka's going to be out for some sort of period of time. It sounded like she has been working hurt, and they dropped the titles, and she's taken some time off. So we didn't see Asuka on Raw. Their Damage Control's, I guess, first official, debut on Raw as members of the Raw roster. She was nowhere to be seen. So hopefully she comes back sooner than later. No, I didn't hear what the injury was. You would hope it's not super serious considering she's been working with the injury, but
I think it was a leg issue because, again, I am sneakily looking at these Twitter videos. People have different angles of when they are entering in the ring. And I think it was Friday night. Were they on Friday night? I can't remember. But it was while they were in France, and she's holding up her leg. She can barely even put weight on it.
Interesting.
And
because they did have a match on SmackDown, which we'll get to in a second.
Okay. And yeah, and someone reported, I cannot remember who reported it, but someone reported that she worked like 7 or like it was either like 11 or like 17 days straight when everybody else didn't. And she's hurt and she's been hurt.
That's not good. It's not good.
So it's wild.
This chase came out in the last day or two here. Not a big surprise. It looks like Raw is going to stay on USA through the fourth quarter of the year because their deal with NBC Universal and Raw ended the third quarter, and they were to find some other home before their switch happens at the beginning of 2025 with Netflix. But they signed, I believe it was a $25 million extension to stay on USA for Raw. So through the fourth quarter of the year, you're going to see Raw and SmackDown both on USA. And that's that.
Yeah. If I was a wrestler and my contract was going to be up soon, I would definitely be asking for a lot more money because they just got 25 mil.
Yeah, and I don't remember where I saw this, but somebody had made the comparison saying, hey, UFC spends a lot more money on their fighters, like a much larger chunk of their money on their fighters than what WWE does on their wrestlers. And so when the whole merger happened, that was something that was brought up as far as something that maybe might be shifting because, you know, they're under the same umbrella now. So, I mean, if they kind of even that up amongst the two companies, I guess. I don't know.
Ooh, I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a little bit of give and take on that, though. UFC is a lot more dangerous than WWE. So I would consider.
Is it?
Yes. They are legitimately choking people out. They
So
could
is CM Punk.
easily kill someone.
He's a choke artist, as he said on Monday. And then Pat was like, yeah, guillotine. That was fucking great. Punk and McAfee has been a great combo. I'm really, really upset about this, guys. I don't know if you were as upset as what I was. You probably were to an extent. They announced, I believe that was after BackLash on Saturday, WrestleMania's in Vegas.
It'll be okay.
It's not in Minneapolis. We're not going to it. It's not like a 10-minute drive from Scwartz's house. What?
Why can't we go to the Vegas one?
Man.
I'll just sell my house right now, take out my 401k.
I mean, I guess it's going to be really expensive no matter what. So YOLO, let's just go to Vegas, I guess.
I mean, I think from now on, it's these PLEs, these major PLEs are just so expensive. I think I just saw before that SummerSlam is outrageous.
Mm-hmm. Mania is outrageous. They're all outrageous. I'm curious to see. We talked about this a few weeks back. I'm curious to see if we're going to end up getting Royal Rumble in Milwaukee at AmFam Park. That'd be pretty cool. It sounds like they're winterizing it to be able to do events there in the winter. So that would be neat.
I'd do it.
Yeah. Let's get into SmackDown. I'm going to skip a bunch here because there was a lot that just really wasn't pertinent to a lot of things. The show started with Bayley, Naomi, Bianca, and Jade facing Damage Control and Tiffany Stratton. Baby faces win here, and this is just a pre-match, I guess, for Jade and Bianca to go against Damage Control the following day. This was probably one of the more notable things on the show, and this was the whole match with Owens and Orton and the Bloodline. So we start backstage. Paul Heyman walks into Nick Aldis' office asking Nick if he received the memo, and Aldis said, yes, I denied this request. And this memo from Paul Heyman to Nick Aldis requested that Orton and Kevin Owens be pulled from the tag match at BackLash. And then, a little bit later, Paul Heyman mentions he hasn't spoken to Roman since Mania. And Nick Aldis kind of freezes. He's like, what did you just say? Because now Aldis is like, wait, you said Roman was pulling himself from the draft. You communicated this, but you just said you haven't talked to him since Mania. So what's going on? And Heyman says, it wasn't Roman that pulled out from the draft. I pulled him from the draft. That's interesting. I don't know what that means.
Would you prefer him on SmackDown or Raw?
Who?
Roman.
I mean, he's got to be wherever the Bloodline has to be for now to work that story up, I guess.
Or, I mean, he could actually be away.
Well, he is away.
Well, I mean, like, he could be at Raw, and it can still, keep it going.
And then we're just shitting all over the brand split again. You know?
I'm not saying he even has to go on SmackDown. He could stay on Raw, and then, Solo holds Heyman hostage on SmackDown.
Free Heyman.
Hashtag free Heyman. What a babyface turn. If anybody's watching on YouTube, please leave us a comment, say hello, join the conversation. We read the comments and respond. Yeah, so anyways, after this backstage segment. Serenity now. After this backstage segment with Heyman and Aldis,
there you go.
Then we get the first ever episode of the RKO show. Randy and Kevin are out there. Kevin mentions that Heyman called him after. Heyman called him several times, and he's like, finally at 4 a.m, I caved and I answered his phone call. Heyman asked Kevin Owens if he could be a guest on the RKO show. Kevin said yes. Heyman comes out, and he basically says they should pull out of the match at Bloodline or at Backlash because the Bloodline is different. This is a different Bloodline, and they're dangerous. And then Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga attack them from behind, and then security breaks it up. So I think the biggest part of the show to me, this show didn't have a whole lot of meat on the bones, but the biggest thing to me was Heyman saying that Roman isn't the one that pulled himself out of the draft, and I think that's obviously going to go somewhere. The other thing was Carlito being interviewed backstage. He said that he's the one that attacked Dragon Lee because after being away for so many years, he wanted his WrestleMania moment. And he took out Dragon Lee to get the match, and it wasn't personal. But then Dragon Lee attacks Carlito, and they're pulled apart. I like what they're doing with Carlito right now. I think he's a great heel, and this is what I want to see out of him.
I liked him back in the day when he stabbed John Cena in the club.
Oh, my God, I forgot about that. What a time. What a fucking time. Street Profits challenged Grayson and Waller for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Grayson and Waller retained. You had your Rhodes and Styles face-to-face. That was pretty meaningless. Styles slapped Cody after they talked some trash, and that was it. And then immediately after, the show ends with RKO and Bloodline brawling backstage. So the overarching storyline of SmackDown was RKO and Bloodline. It wasn't Cody and Styles. I guess, which is fine though too. I don't know.
Well, what else can they do other than have them brawl, which they didn't want them to do? They just have they'd have like another in-ring segment where they just talk about basically their first segment that they had.
Yeah, I
and
guess.
It's just like,
but it's like you don't really expect this super hot angle in a Backlash or whatever the first one or two shows are after Mania either. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if they would have brought up like Bullet Club stuff, that would have made it a lot better.
They did a little bit here and there, but not. I think they could have leaned into it a lot harder.
Yeah, but I'm saying like,
they did.
If they would have just said something like, "Oh, like Cody was like, hey, I was a better leader of the Bullet Club."
Yeah, and maybe
actually, I don't even.
Maybe they got to be careful about that. But Cody was also like a pseudo like wannabe leader, not like an official leader.
I was like, I
it's
don't
a
think
whole
he was
thing.
actually a leader.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a whole thing. Moving on, we're gonna go to Backlash. This was crazy. So the crowd at SmackDown was insane, and Backlash somehow blew SmackDown's crowd out of the water. They announced SmackDown was the highest grossing SmackDown of all time, and then Backlash they announced was the highest grossing gate for any arena show in WWE history. But when I think about it, it doesn't sound as impressive because that's easy to do if your tickets are more expensive than ever. Either,
yeah, I heard the
guess.
ticket prices were just absurd.
I'm sure. And they knew they could get it, and they did. So, I don't know. But Backlash opened up with RKO versus Bloodline. Shorts, do you want to run us through Backlash? If you'd like.
Sure. Let me do it. So the show opened with Randy Orton and KO versus the Bloodline, which again, I don't know if I really liked them opening the show. I honestly would have been
the women's tag team belt or match would have been a good opener.
Yeah, that's fine. I just really think that this match should have closed it. I think there was so much that went into this that this was like really the main point of Backlash, I feel like.
Yeah.
But again, I mean they had KO and Randy they have this weird bromance, and I love it. They just keep coming back to each other. So
They should be like a tag team. They should go for the tag belts.
Didn't they try that once or no?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
Oh, well. Anyways, the two teams start brawling in and out of the ring, and the officials and the security had a hard time breaking them up. So then, and it never even started. And so Nick Aldis comes out, and he just says, this is going to be a street fight. Which, by the way, why not just say anything goes or something, like no disqualification? There's no street fight.
There's no streets.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah, when they started doing street fights, they actually did them like out and about in the
Yeah,
streets. Now it's just a no DQ match.
Out and about. So, basically, it's no disqualification. Which I guess the only thing that's different in the street fight is that
What's so fucking funny?
You.
What did I do?
Nothing.
Stop interrupting him.
Scwartz.
My God.
basically no rules. Kevin Owens hits Tonga with the fisherman hook suplex, which was fucking wild because it was off the turnbuckle into the chairs, and that looked like it hurt.
It almost looked like KO got the worst of it.
He did. I'm pretty sure he did. But also, if you're going down head first like that, pass. Hard pass. When he goes for the pin, the ref gets pulled out of the ring
Yeah.
by Tama Tonga's brother, Tonga Loa. And then Solo ends up getting the victory off a massive spike. Samoan spike. What'd you think about this, Travis?
I thought this was good. This wasn't the new member of the Bloodline I was expecting. I think everybody thought if somebody else was going to show up that it was going to be Jacob Fatu, which makes sense because he is actual blood. And I don't believe Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are blood.
Did you look in the family tree at all when Rock posted that?
Did you?
No, but I don't have this allegation.
I could be mistaken, but based on what I've seen so far, I don't believe that they're actual blood. It's just like Haku is very close with the family, and it's like, they call him uncle. You know what I mean? Even though he's not actually blood. And I think that's kind of where it comes from. Little Rat is joining us on the podcast. I believe that's her debut here. She doesn't jump up here as much as Cheeto does, or ever.
I wonder if anybody's gonna
She's
judge
old
you
and
for
fat.
her name.
You want to talk?
Oh,
She doesn't.
okay. Well, she had her chance.
Not so much.
So, I mean, outside of that, though, I wish Tonga Loa would have had a different name. And I understand they're keeping their names that they've basically been using in New Japan, but Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, like, one's last name is the other one's first name.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing? Especially if they're brothers, like, make sense of that for me. I don't know. But
It's probably a Samoan thing. I mean, it has to be a Samoan thing.
They're not Samoan.
Yeah, I don't know what the.
they're Tongan. That's a thing.
That's got to be. Is that like a form of Samoa?
Oh my God! Now I gotta look
Like the
this up.
islands of Samoa?
Hold on.
I don't know.
Tonga is a country.
In the islands of Samoa.
Little Rat.
I don't know. I just trying to figure this out.
The country is made up of 171 islands.
171 islands.
I don't know. All I can tell you is that it's not Samoa.
Okay. Well,
I'm calling them the Bloodline 2.0.
yeah. This is
It's
Don't you remember
directly south of Samoa. 2/3 of the way from Hawaii to New Zealand, if that means anything to you guys. I'm looking at a map. Now I'm just really... I don't know shit about geography, so now I'm kind of like invested in this.
Should we just go to the islands of Samoa?
Yeah, dog.
Probably cheaper than going to Las Vegas.
Hardy in the comments. Jacob will be with Roman and the Usos. I can get behind that.
So that is actually a pretty good one though.
I never even considered that, to be honest.
Yeah, because Jay could still be by himself though.
I do think it's going to end up being the Usos and Roman together in some way, shape, or form. But I would rather see Jacob Fatu with them.
Yeah.
Since, I mean, he is the Usos' brother, and I know he's Solo's brother as well, but then he's joining this group with his one brother and two guys that he's not like technically related to. I don't know.
I did read a little snippet, but I don't know if it was anybody. Nobody reported, but they were saying they think that Jacob Fatu didn't debut and he won't be with these guys because he may outshine in Solo because he's a better wrestler and he is a better talker.
Pretty sure I read that
Solo.
earlier.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but if they're against each other, I think it helps both of them out then.
I mean, they both
rather
like
than
the
being
same
with
build.
each other. It's similar.
Yeah. Right.
So it'll be interesting to see where this goes. I'm guessing War Games, personally, which would be sick.
Yeah, which would bring The Rock into this too.
Potentially.
But do you think Jimmy's going to be ready by then?
Well,
Jimmy's hurt.
Remember when Tama Tonga debuted and Solo said something either to Heyman or Aldis, I don't remember who, but he said, by orders of the tribal chief. And at this point, I'm going to believe that he's not referring to Roman, he's referring to Rock.
Yep.
I think Rock might be pulling the strings.
I like it.
Yeah.
Moving past that.
That works.
Yeah. So then we had a triple threat match, Bayley versus Naomi versus Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's Championship, which, by the way, Tiffany Stratton, I'm very upset with her. She said she's the one that requested new entrance music, and it fucking sucks. I scared little rat. So anyways, to think maybe we could have had her good theme this whole time, and it was actually her decision that we don't get it anymore. Anyways, Bayley retains. This is a good match. There was no turmoil between Naomi and Bayley in the match, and they hugged or whatever after it was all said and done. So yeah. Shorts, you want to take us through the rest?
Yeah, of course I do.
So sweet of you.
Then it was a World Heavyweight Championship match. It was Damian Priest versus Jey Uso. Pretty much, I mean, it was back and forth. Both JD came out and Finn came out, and they both had a little bit of say how the match went.
Only a little, yeah.
Because Priest, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a huge thing. I mean, Jay knocked Finn out, so when he jumped over and jumped on the apron, JD put Priest's foot on the rope, which helped, obviously. Whatever. Anyways, Damian Priest ends up retaining from a South of Heaven off the second rope. Was that what it was?
Oh, God, I'm trying to remember now. I don't know.
I think, yeah, second.
I think it was off the second rope. Anyways, but yeah, he ends up retaining, and then the two, JD and Finn, start stomping on Jay, and then Priest gets pissed, shoves them both. They keep trying to go after him again, shoves him again, and then says, "No, it's done and over with. We're done. We're done. He's good. He had enough." Very weird.
Yeah.
I don't like the face little bits of that.
Mhm.
I like, either just go all in or don't.
Mhm.
Well, I can see, like wanting to retain by yourself and not have help. Kind of like, how the bloodline was always helping Roman.
Which is weird because that's not the way the Judgment Day's been like this entire time either.
Yeah.
Like, you can definitely see that Damian Priest is starting to not want them involved at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. JD keeps messing up.
A lot.
Yeah,
He didn't mess
But-
up here though.
that's true. He was pretty spot on this. So, I don't know. What do you guys think of the match?
I liked it. It was very
It was fine. I don't know.
entertaining.
Yeah, it didn't knock my socks off by any means, but it was a good match. With a predictable finish, I feel like. But at least they threw a little wrench into it with Priest getting mad at the other two at the end.
The best part of the match, I think, was Jey Uso's entrance.
Oh man, that was insane.
yeah.
He had the entire place yeeting.
Yeet.
Yeet.
I was upset that Pat wasn't there.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
That would have been
They-
amazing.
They did reference that Pat wasn't there. Like, Cole was like, I'm no Pat McAfee, or I'm no Pat, but I'm yeeting, or something.
I think Pat would have exploded.
Probably.
Oh my God.
I can't
yeah,
remember
that would've
the
been his
comment
favorite
that
thing.
Corey made when Michael said that he was yeeting. Like something like a long
It was
train
like-
ride home or something.
Oh no.
Something like that. And then he constantly just goes, I'm yeeting all over the crowd. or something like that. Or I'm yeeting all over myself. So, I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, all the title matches were fairly predictable, in my opinion.
Of
so.
course.
Mm-hmm.
Another title match happened after that was the women's tag team titles. Kabuki Warriors were defending against Bianca and Jade. Bianca took maybe 90% of the beating because
Got to protect
Jade was
Jade.
on the side. Yep. And when Jade did get in, it kind of looked a little messy. I don't know if it was because Asuka was actually hurt and couldn't do very much, and also Jade not really being on, being like their cohesiveness wasn't that great. Also, Kyrie was, I don't know, was Kyrie concussed because she was doing some weird stuff there too. Like they were all. The only person that seemed like they knew what they were doing was Asuka, and she was kind of hurt, and Bianca, but she was just gassed, so she wasn't even in there most towards the end. But
I don't know.
it just seemed to me that Kyrie just looked, I don't know, maybe she was gassed too, but Jade still needs some time with all the women. But in the end, Jade and Bianca ended up winning, and fairly predictable. So. We have new champs.
Well,
And Bianca's a tag title champion. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be a good team to give those belts some credibility. I just hope it's not a super predictable, like, oh, we're champions, and then one person's going to turn on the other, because then it's going to take, I don't know, a lot of the good attention away from those tag belts, and it's going to shift them over to Jade
throws
and
everything
Bianca
away.
if they end up feuding. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see how it plays out.
who do you see beating them?
God, nobody. Nobody.
It's definitely not going to be Caden and freaking Katana.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
can't think of, like, I mean, obviously there aren't very many, like, established.
Nobody in NXT either.
I mean, the only other possibility I can think of is, oh man,
Didn't
what? I can't remember. What's Gigi Dolan's name now?
isn't it just?
Alba
Oh,
Fire
it's,
and Isla
Oh,
Dawn.
that's not GG though. Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, yeah, they're really good.
She's a part of that, though, isn't she?
GG's not even a part of that. No.
No idea.
The other two are called up, and Gigi's still on NXT.
Okay. That solves that.
Which is fine. She's gonna come up, but I think the biggest thing that irked me in this whole match is still Jade is. I don't know if you guys ever even paid attention to this match at all. Jade is too focused on celebrating rather than selling or doing anything involved in the match. She was constantly jumping up and just saying "Let's go," which took away from a lot.
That sounds a little annoying, but I guess I didn't really notice though.
Oh my! If you go back and watch that, or if she has more matches, she's just more focused on getting up and just trying to get the crowd to go. When it was did you not just watch the 3 matches ahead of you? This whole building is exploding. You don't need to rile this crowd up.
Mm-hmm.
2, it's your 3rd match, or 3rd or 4th match ever in WWE. Try to do something with it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of took away from the match, and I was just like, God, Jade's being really annoying, even though she's really good.
I hope she somehow
just
just saying that and just shows up at your house and power bombs you.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind it. All right, moving on. This setup for the final match of the night was AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE undisputed WWE Championship. They still keep that on there.
I wish they wouldn't, but here we are.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I don't like it. I don't like that on there. The match went pretty long. I think it was like a 25-minute match, which was good. So many back and forth. Cody hitting all these crazy moves. I think he ended up hitting his Cody cutter from the top ropes to end up finishing it.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point where he did a comeback. I can't remember off of what, but I don't know. I didn't really. I heard a lot of those things off these.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if that's maybe what I'm thinking of when Styles hit a nasty looking burning hammer and then Cody just immediately fucking got on his knees and started hulking up. I didn't like that at all. That it wasn't that move, which is something we don't see in WWE.
It's a protected move. It really is. Outside of WWE, it's a protected move.
It wasn't even sold. I'm like, what are we doing here? And I'm gonna sour on Cody if they turn him into this superhero Hulk Hogan type of wrestler. I don't want to see that.
Yeah,
grows out his hair.
It's
makes the top of his head is shaved bald.
He's got the color for it.
Just says just long handlebars. Weird.
I don't know how you do that.
Doing that?
Hold your thumb up or something. Hold a thumbs up. I don't know if that's what's. No, because it's when you're on Zoom and you hold a thumbs up, it makes a thumbs up thing on the screen. Anyway, go on. Or
no idea.
Sidetrack.
But yeah, Cody ends up winning. I don't know. There were some other things in there from that match that I cannot think of right now. I literally just watched it too again. It was a predictable match. You knew Cody's not losing or even having the potential to lose until SummerSlam. But Cody's probably going to have a year-long reign, if not close to a year.
I think so. At least till Mania.
Mm-hmm.
Little Rat is going to town on your microphone.
I know.
So I guess in all, out of 5 stars, what do you give this? What do you give this pay-per-view?
3.5.
I was thinking either that or 3.
I'm pretty close to your guys' in between. I'm a 3.2.
It wasn't bad. It was enjoyable. I think it would have been. I wouldn't have felt great about it if it wasn't for the crowd, though. I don't think.
If Uncle Howdy would have showed up, it would have been 4.5.
There's another thing I wanted to talk about after that. Yeah, I think the only reason it was in the 3s was because of the crowd. At least in my opinion, it's just that
the matches were still good. They were just, a lot of them just were mostly throwaways because we don't have locked in rosters yet. We're just trying to get through this to get to the next thing. And like everybody knows what Backlash is, and this was it. So I mean, it wasn't disappointing, but it certainly like met expectations in terms of we know what we're getting with this show, and that's what happened.
Yeah. No, it was fine. Yeah, wasn't mad at it. Wasn't jumping for joy, like laughing or super off my chair.
Right.
Excited. The only thing that was like okay was, I guess, me jumping off my chair was when Tonga Loa came out. I was like, sheesh.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he pulled the ref out of the ring.
Okay, whatever.
I'm going to find that. I'm going to try to again. I'm going to send it to you.
I've seen a couple angles of it, and I didn't think it looked as bad as you think it does. I'm not saying it went perfect. I'm just saying I don't think it was as bad as what you think.
I don't know, Chap.
Fuck you. Monday Night Raw. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw.
Do you think Drew Gulak was at this show?
What?
What?
I don't know. Do you think somebody's sweatpants strings were pulled?
Ow.
That's what you get, motherfucker.
I didn't do anything.
Anyway.
I mean, his contract is done in June 1st, so I'm sure they probably sent his ass home and was like, yeah, we don't need you.
Well, of course. Little Rat's
This
checking
cat
it out.
is just staring you down.
Dude, she is on something, I think. I didn't even give her any catnip today, man. I don't know.
She got into something.
Well, she's coming over here. Yeah, Monday Night Raw, Hartford, Connecticut, as we mentioned before. This was the first night of the new rosters with the draft. There was a week lull there. Raw was the first show where we officially have new rosters on each show, and we shouldn't. I pray to God there isn't any bleed over between the shows.
Use the new lightly.
Yeah, there isn't a lot that's new. I don't know, but here we are. The show starts with Judgment Day. The four guys all come down. Priest apologizes to the group for losing his cool at Backlash after Finn and JD helped Damian retain. Finn states that McIntyre isn't cleared to compete. As McIntyre pointed out on Raw the week before, he said CM Punk hurt his elbow. So his arm was checked out. He's not medically cleared to compete anymore. So Finn's excited because he's like, I'm going to get a first round bye in the King of the Ring tournament. There goes the bell. And Finn's all excited, and then Adam Pearce comes out and says, No. You're still going to be wrestling in the first round. And McIntyre is being replaced by Jey Uso. And, of course, Judgment Day is pissed about that. So then immediately after, we saw Finn Balor and Jey Uso. Jey Uso wins. And then afterwards, Drew comes out of the crowd, walks into the ring, and he is staring Jey Uso down. And that's where that ends. So Jey Uso moves to the second round of King of the Ring. Immediately after, we see, well, I believe there's a commercial break. We see Drew McIntyre bitching to Adam Pearce about how he wasn't cleared to compete and he should have been in the King of the Ring and blah, blah, blah. And then Drew gets in the C8 Corvette while still bitching at Adam Pearce, and he drives out of the building. And then immediately following him was CM Punk in an old Trans Am. Punk said, Adam Pearce, where's Drew? And Pearce says, you just missed him. Punk walks to the ring and grabs the mic, and he talks about how he was locked in headquarters over the weekend in Stanford, which he chronicled on his Instagram story. CM Punk said he was in the bathroom, and he ended up being locked in the building. So he hung out, he watched Backlash, he slept there, and he got out and drove from HQ down to Hartford since he was stuck in town. So that's what happened. Punk says everyone should tweet at Drew to get him to come.
Me?
Yeah, he froze.
Yeah, well, I think there is a problem on my end, so now I'm waiting to see if we're still good on YouTube or not. It says I'm good now. Okay, that was weird. Anyways, what were you saying?
Yeah, YouTube YouTube froze. I'm saying, or I said, do you think that CM Punk will be good to go by SummerSlam?
Yes. I think so.
I'd hope
like,
so.
medically cleared.
I think so. But they gotta really, if we're still gonna be 3 months off of this match, then they gotta really find good ways to keep it interesting.
Is actually very beneficial in these coming weeks. Whether it's Drew running away or not knowing he's running away, like in the car, and then CM Punk just playing that little game with him in the arena.
Some cat and mouse.
I think that, yeah, I think it's great. I think they should keep doing something like that where they're just very close and they just miss each other, or they egg each other on and they're just not there. So it's
Yeah, and we don't know how long it'll be before Drew's cleared. I mean, it could be a couple weeks, it could be longer. We'll see.
Do you think that's a real injury, or do you think that's it's a work?
I think it's probably a legit, like, really minor injury, because I don't think they would have had him in the King of the Ring tournament knowing that he is hurt. I guess. I don't know.
There's a lot of people hurt right now. Within the last week, there's been a lot of people.
I think McIntyre was likely going to go far in the King of the Ring. I'm guessing is what was going to happen. But also, one thing that Punk said on Raw was that I am going to come to Glasgow if I have to in order to find you, so I can punch you in the face. He said he was going to hide in a bowl of some sort of Scottish dish. Yeah, now I need to look that up too. Damn it. Scottish. Nope, I spelled that wrong. Hold on. Scottish dish in a bowl. Stand by. Haggis. That's what it is. Punk said in the camera, if I have to, I'm going to hide in a bowl of haggis, and then I'm going to pop out of it and punch you in the face. I don't know what haggis is. I'm intrigued. Haggis is traditionally served with neeps and tatties, boiled and mashed separately, and a dram, which is a glass of Scotch whiskey, especially as the main course of a Burns supper. I don't know what any of this shit means.
Say a burnt supper?
Burns. I don't know what a Burns supper is.
No idea what that is.
You're supposed to eat it hot. So it burns.
Haggish.
Like Mr.
Hold on, I think I can get a better description of this. Haggish is a savory pudding containing sheep's pluck, minced with chopped onion, oatmeal, suet, spices, and salt mixed with stock and cooked while traditionally and encased in the animal's stomach, though now an artificial casing is often used instead. I don't know. Anyways,
Me either.
Yeah. So anyways, next we had Io Sky versus Natalya for the round 1 of the King of the Ring. Io wins with an over the moonsault. Dakota cuts a promo after putting the whole division on notice, saying they want the tag titles back and they also want Becky's title. After this
is the first time that Io has been seen since she lost.
Probably.
I haven't heard or seen anything from her since she lost in Mania.
I mean, she's been on TV, but she hasn't wrestled, I don't think so. No. They
Have you seen her on TV?
She was on Raw during the draft because she touched Becky's belt.
She also wrestled on Friday, the night before Backlash.
I do not remember that.
I don't know, man.
You're moving.
Yeah, probably.
I still watched it.
We'll give you a pass this week. After that, and I know that you didn't catch Raw shorts yet because you were busy with all this shit, but Ilya Dragunov versus Ricochet, you have to watch that match. It was so good.
I saw snips of it.
Oh, it was so good. They're definitely going to come back to these two wrestling each other sooner than later, I think.
So why didn't Ricochet... Okay, spoiler for anybody that's listening that hasn't watched Speed or anything like that, or if they even care. Ricochet wins in Speed, and he wins the title, which the title's okay. I don't mind it at all. Why wouldn't they just want that on TV?
Good question.
I don't know. I don't think they want to
under-
confuse it with anything else happening because it's not a title that's going to be defended on Raw or anything like that. It's my guess.
Right, but it gets more eyes on Twitter, and they can't watch it unless it's on Twitter. So then it's like, hey, here's my speed title. Watch it on Twitter. I'm going to defend it on Twitter.
I don't know.
Or X, 1,000 times X.
I don't completely disagree
Triple
with
X.
you. But this match was wild. This match had like 3 segments, and it was amazing and hard hitting. And I was actually surprised that they had Ilya win this.
Why?
I don't know. I felt like I don't know. I just want Ricochet to go far in this, I guess, selfishly.
They
but
do this
also
to Ricochet all the time.
Yeah, but also Ilya doesn't
that.
need this at all. Like it benefits him for sure, but like he's the new kid on the block. I don't know. Either way is fine. This works. I'm curious to see what they do with it, but I think this was a really, really amazing start to Ilya on Raw.
George, what do you think of that match?
High flying.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. No, it was a really, really good match. Easily the best match on Raw. Probably my favorite match out of everything from SmackDown, BackLash, and Raw.
The crowd was my favorite.
Wow.
That's fair. So Ilya is going to face Jey Uso in round 2 of the King of the Ring tournament. And then we had Zoe Stark versus Ivy Nile for round 1 of the women's. Zoe Stark wins. We had a promo backstage with Awesome Truth and Adam Pearce and the coach from the Huskies, and Truth calling the NCAA a small indie promoter. God, he's so good. Can never get sick of him. We had Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed, and not too long into the match, Sammy attacked Chad Gable, causing the DQ. So Gable technically wins the match, I guess. Bronson Reed takes them both out, and then the camera follows him back as he walks back into Gorilla, and Bronson says to Adam Pearce, if Adam Pearce wants control, he knows what he needs to do, which I'm assuming is probably give Bronson Reed an IC title match.
Which he's been asking for like 2 months.
Well, and I mean, yeah. Anyways, I like what they're doing with this. I like the people involved in it. It's been interesting. I don't know. I've been a fan of how they've been handling the IC title since Mania.
I feel like the last 3-4 weeks there's always just been interference between those 3 in a match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna go it's gonna be a triple threat match. I actually wouldn't mind having. I kind of want Gable to win now because I want him to put some.
I'm in the same boat.
We don't even have to use that. Yeah, we don't even have to say legitimacy because it has legitimacy now.
Oh, absolutely. Especially after Gunther.
It's just, it's just more of, I can see Gable riding with this title a lot longer than Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing with Sammy. Like, Sammy overcame it. It's more of like, Sammy's story was, the chase.
Yeah, Sammy's, the interesting part of Sammy is the chase. And I think that's what, like, a lot of people tend to think about Cody now too, but also like give Cody a chance. He's had 1 defense, but
right, he can do a lot. He's so versatile.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of Gable, sorry, really quick. Gable Stevenson.
Oh yeah, he was released.
Mm-hmm.
Get him the fuck out.
Apparently, his manager said in the last couple days that NFL teams have been reaching out to them, which I find hilarious.
Fine.
Because A, why, but B, like, I don't know. I don't know if he has a history playing football, like in college or anything like that. But it's like, I think it's interesting that teams are like reaching out to sign him.
You know who the number 1 team is? Jaguars.
Shut the fuck up. He's not going to AEW.
I didn't say he was.
That's what you're referring to.
Just saying, like,
is he? You think he's gonna pull a Brock Lesnar?
No. What? Go to the Vikings?
Well, I mean, tryouts and do everything that he can. Did you know that Brock Lesnar actually got in a motorcycle accident 2 a week or two before his tryouts?
I don't think I heard that.
Dude, that was like 25 years ago.
What?
That was like 22 years ago.
No. Paul Heyman actually told the story not too long ago that he actually got in a car accident and still ended up like he had like hernia or whatever from like his belly button down to his like knee, and he ended up running like a sub 4 or like a low 4:40 or whatever with that. It was wild. Take a look.
Do you remember Do you remember what Brock Lesnar's jersey number was with the Vikings?
I do. Do you know, George?
69.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyways, next up we had Michael Cole interviewing Becky Lynch in the ring. Liv Morgan interrupts. Becky mentions that Liv never beat her. Liv says, well, now she has purpose, which is revenge on Rhea, which is why she can achieve anything, including taking the title Rhea loves from Becky. Damage Control comes out and they surround Becky and Liv while they're in the ring. And when it looks like Liv is going to take on Damage Control with Becky, Liv scoots the fuck out of the ring. And then Damage Control comes in and starts to attack Becky. And then Lyra Valkyria comes out to make the save. And they fight off Damage Control. And I think this makes enough sense. I believe it was Lyra that beat Becky for the NXT Women's Championship. And I want to say Lyra's Irish as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
I'm sure she is.
I'm not really an NXT watcher, and I know we say all the time we're going to get into it, and we will at some point. Just be patient with us.
I will. Yeah,
Definitely
I'll make sure to get something going next week. I should be a little bit better next week.
Yeah. So then, anyways, since Lyra was out there, the next matchup for the Queen of the Ring tournament, Lyra Valkyria versus Dakota Kai. Lyra wins. I don't think she's going to stink face Zoe Stark in round 2. This wasn't a good attempt. Last week was a great attempt. But the problem is I'm like looking at that part and I could see you typing it.
Wait, you just saw it now?
Yeah.
I'm not in there.
Oh, all right. Well, I caught it anyway. So Lyra wins. She's going to face Zoe Stark in round 2. I thought they were going to have Dakota Kai win this. So far, the NXT call-ups in the tournament have won their matches in round 1. I would have liked Dakota Kai to get this to give her some steam and give Damage Control some more steam. I don't think Lyra needed this. I mean, it'll be cool to see her in it, but she's probably just going to lose anyway, unless they take her all the way to the top, which would be great too. But I feel like if you're going to have Lyra in this and beat somebody in round 1, then you almost have to take her to the top and win the whole thing.
Or at least get her to the finals and get her some push.
Right.
But Dakota Kai needed this a lot more than Lyra did.
Yeah, exactly. I thought so. Michael Cole makes a statement saying that the last men's and women's round 1 matches are going to happen at live events over the weekend, which I thought was kind of interesting. So at least people, at the live shows are going to get something of some substance and get some storyline out of it. And I believe the 2 matches were Kofi versus Ray and, oh man, I can't remember the women's.
You're so sexist.
It was Zelina Vega versus somebody, but I can't remember who. Anyways, then we closed out Monday Night Raw with Sheamus versus Gunther in the round 1 of the King of the Ring tournament, and Gunther wins. And that was Raw. A little bit of an anticlimactic ending, I felt like, but good match, long match, hard-hitting match, as you would expect with these two.
Did you see the handprint on the back of Sheamus's back?
I didn't notice.
Oof.
Pretty bad?
Oh, yeah.
So that was Monday Night Raw, and that brings us to the end of our recaps for SmackDown, BackLash, and Raw.
Did you know that it was Dakota Kai's birthday on Monday? Boom. Gotcha.
Yes, I did.
Didn't know that.
I did know.
And she lost.
And she lost. Happy fucking birthday, Dakota.
So much for liking that. Okay.
You guys see that
Okay.
Bobby Lashley got pulled from the King of the Ring tournament? Like
Bobby Lashley?
Yeah, like 3 hours ago. Apparently there's injury.
Really?
Oh.
Oh. We'll have to look into that. But there are 3 women's matches taking place tomorrow. Bianca Belair versus Candice LeRae. Jade Cargill versus Piper Niven.
So they have Bianca and Jade both in the tournament. So they're obviously going to face each other.
No, they're not going to do that. One of them.
I don't know, man.
First of all, okay, then it's Naomi versus Nia Jax. First of all, why would they put Jade Cargill in here if she's one? She has to win.
Well, yeah.
Can't eat a loss. She can't eat a loss.
Who is she going against?
Too early in her. She's going against Piper, but I'm saying like going through the whole tournament, she can't eat a loss. She has to win it. Unless something happens where she just maybe bows out and gives it to Bianca or something. I don't fucking know.
Or like Chelsea Green interferes and Piper ends up winning.
Or something like that. Or like maybe a count out. Maybe something like that. But you can't let her.
I mean, she can lose, but she can't lose clean.
Sure. Yeah.
What does the tournament even look like?
Oh, he's telling us.
I know. I want to see
I looked this up and it says, taken to social media, SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis shared news that Lashley has been pulled from the tournament as he is not medically cleared to compete. And he stated that 2-time former champion suffered a training-related injury but did not share any further details. In his place, Angelo Dawkins. So he's probably going to lose round 1.
Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know if anybody has the females tournament.
I can look it up here quick.
That's the women's.
Oh, I guess I have the men's right here. I don't know.
I just found the men's.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is Kofi versus Ray on
live event.
Alive.
Yep.
So then the other one, so it's going to be it's Tungaloa versus Angelo Dawkins, and then it'll be LA Knight versus Escobar. Baron Corbin immediately getting in there, and he goes against Carmelo Hayes, so he's losing
probably.
And then AJ Styles versus Randy Orton. That's going to be a fucking banger. So guaranteed that the first round is going to be done in the live events, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because
that's how it's supposed to work. 'Cause Michael Cole said the last matches in round 1 are happening on the live event.
Oh, so all of round 1 is going to be happening. Okay.
All of round 1 will be finished by Monday Night Raw, and then round 2 should be starting for men and women. I don't understand. Like, what are we doing with King of the Ring anymore? Like, what does it mean? Like, all it does is make people look stupid when they carry around a crown and a javel for a year and call themselves King whatever. They need to do something where the King of the Ring gives them like a title shot. It gives them something, because at this point they're not getting anything out of it. So why are we making a big deal of it?
It didn't last long with Woods when he won it back in 2001 or 21. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, he had that persona and the character for a bit, but he
did okay. Roman squashed it.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah, dude, he did. Oh my God, yeah, he beat the crap out of New Day and then took the crown. I forgot.
Yeah, they need to do something meaningful for whoever wins it. Like, let's stop calling them king. Let's stop, whatever. Like, let's not put a stupid gimmick on them. Let's like give them some sort of reward that actually makes them want to win this tournament.
Don't they
get a title shot?
Yeah, that's how it used to be.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Huh. I don't know. I guess. Pretty wild.
Well, I think we about covered it all, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm very up to date with everything.
Indeed.
What do you think? Anything exciting happens tomorrow?
I don't know. It's also the first night of the new quote unquote new SmackDown roster. But I think the big focus for the TV shows is the King of the Ring right now. Hopefully maybe we try to figure out who Cody Rhodes' next contender is going to be or start to, I don't know, go that direction some way or another.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens. For anybody watching us on YouTube here, don't forget to check us out on Apple and Spotify. Search Unprofessional Wrestling on those platforms. We're also available on a couple other smaller platforms as well, but those are the main ones that everybody uses. And so you can see it right there. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Find us on there. If you're watching us on YouTube as well, please click subscribe. Please like this video. And click the notification bell so that you know every time that we go live. Also, don't forget to join our new Discord server. You can find the link to our new Discord server in the description of this video right here. And if you're listening on the podcast, you can find it in the description of this podcast. Join our Discord server. There's all sorts of wrestling talk happening on there, and we're active on there as well. So come check it out. Come hang out. We'd love to grow this as much as possible. And outside of that, boy, I think I got everything in. Gentlemen, did we have any final thoughts?
No, sir.
Nothing.
Shorts is good too. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, with that, we're going to give you the old salute. We're going to see you next week right here on Unprofessional Wrestling.